This is Standard 2 Objective 2, Understand and Integrate Word Processing Functions. We're going to be working in both Google Docs and in Microsoft Office Online. Let's start with the Google Docs. We need to be able to create a document, and one of the things that is an objective is we want to be able to use some automated processes, and probably the best friend you're going to have in this will be the templates that are pre-created. So I'm going to go up to my Google account. I'm already signed in, so I can click on the waffle, open up Google Apps, and here's my drive. When I open my drive, I'm going to create a new document. So I'm going to come down to Google Docs, open this document up. This starts out pretty plain right here. We have just a blank document. We're going to go up here to the Docs home. When we click on this, this is going to open up some templates. Let's click on More. We'll look at what we have here. They have some pre-formatted things for you here. So when you're looking for a resume, you can come in and click, and here is a pre-formatted resume. When you print it out, it'll look nice when you're done. Let's go back to our Docs home. Go to More again. They have several different things here for you. If you're creating a letter, you can keep the same theme with this spearmint, which is in the green. They have some things for education, so if you need to write a report, they have it pre-formatted for you. Here's a report in MLA format, so when your English teacher wants something done, let's open this one up and create it. You see how it's formatted with the page numbering. It has room for your name, the subject, the date, title. It's pre-filled out with some of this filler text. Just ignore it. You replace it with what you're going to be putting in. Your section headers properly formatted. Your subsection headings are properly formatted. We come down here, you still see the page numbering, the conclusion, and your works cited. It gives you an example of the things that you're citing here. So that's a good start for you on a report when your teacher's looking for something in a particular format. Now let's switch and take a look at the offering that Microsoft has. We're going to be going to office.com. When we do, here is the listing of the applications that are available online. We'll click Microsoft Word, that is their word processor. And you can see some of the templates here. We have an APA style paper and an MLA style paper if you're interested in that, depending upon what your teacher wants from you. See more templates. We come down here, we can browse by category, and we can see different types of documents based on what people are using. If we need a brochure, we click the category. You can see some offerings here. These are some trifolds, a couple of bifolds there. Some college tools. These are actually getting into some other things. This is a wiki if you need to put one online, a report that a team can work on. Let's go to education. You can see a syllabus, a lesson plan. We get into some other things here. Let's just go to a memo. Here's a couple of different memo formats. We'll click this one. I'm going to open this up in Word Online. It tells me I have to save it because it knows I have a different Microsoft account than the one I'm using right now. So it saves us online. Here's the memo, and it's pre-formatted for us. I'm going to show you some shortcuts, and these are pretty common across a lot of application software. We'll start with the simple mouse click. You know, when you click once, it puts your cursor where you want it to be. But if you double click in a word, it's going to highlight that whole word. In the case of a sentence, we can triple click and it'll grab the entire sentence here on this line. Or if we triple click within a paragraph, went too far. If we triple click within that paragraph, you can see it's going to highlight our whole paragraph for us. If we want to select our entire document, we can use shortcut keys. I'm going to hold down the Control key and then press the A. When I do that, Control A stands for Control All. It will select everything on my page. If you're working and you make a mistake, let's say for instance I delete this sentence and I did not mean to, one of your friends is Control Z. Control Z will undo the last thing that you've done, and it goes back quite a ways. It depends upon the program, but you can Control Z your way out of a lot of problems that you get yourself into. If I decide that maybe I've hit Control Z too many times, Control Y will actually redo particular items. In this case, it was the redo of the deleting of that text. The next shortcuts we're going to use, if we triple click, let's say we want to get our report title looking a little more different. So we could go up to our toolbar and we could click on B to make it bold, or you could see when I moused over it that it says Control B. I can use the Control B on my keyboard and I can turn on and off this bolding. I can also use, if I look right next door here, Control I. I can italicize it or turn that off. I can also use Control U and underline or ununderline something that I have here. Finally, the last shortcuts I'm going to show you. If I can click, are Control C, Control X, and Control V. Control C is copy. I now have a copy. I'll put a space here. I can do Control V, and that will paste down the text that I just had. Control V. I can keep going. I've gone too far. I'm going to Control Z. Take that back. So Control C is copy. Control V is paste. If I want to delete something, I can use Control X. That's going to cut it out completely. If I come back down here, I can Control V and I can paste it. Doing the Control X only places that in my clipboard and then allows me to take it and move it somewhere else. Let's take a look at a few more of the formatting tools we have available to us. Top left corner here we have Print. Again, you can see the shortcut, Control P. Here's our undo, our redo. This is the paint format. This allows you to take a particular formatting on some text that you have and put it someplace else. So I'll triple click to select this. Header here, I'm going to come to the Format Painter. Then let's highlight the section that I want to make like that. And when I'm done, you can see that it is copied. The fact that it's red, it's bold, it's underlined, and it's italicized. I'd have to come up here to the Format Painter again. I can grab this particular piece of text, come over here, and when I'm done with it, you can see that it is now italicized. So it's a convenient way to copy the text formatting that you have. I can also change the styles of my text. If I wanted to make this first sentence here a little bit bigger, I could create a heading out of it. When I do, you can see that it makes the text bigger. If I'm looking for some consistency in the way my headings look in a larger report or paper, you can see you could use that. We can also change our fonts. Again, selecting this. We have a pull down. We have some of the fonts that are available. There are some more. Let's put this terrible font in there. That is really hard to read. That's okay. Change our sizes. Make it a little bit bigger. Again, we have the bold, italicized, and underlined. We can change our text colors, the pull-down menu, and it's just getting worse and worse. Let's do a Control A to select all. I'm going to come up here, this particular tool, Clear Formatting. When I click on this, it's going to take away some of that extra colors. It did not take away some of this bold and italicized because these are considered headings, and so it left those alone. In Microsoft Office, our formatting tools are pretty similar. We have the undo, the redo, paste, the different formatting options we have available with our pull down for our fonts, sizes. We have the ability to just grow a font. When we click this, it will make our font, you see it's getting a little bigger down here, or we can reduce the size of it. Changing our font color, all those sorts of fun things that we could do in the Google Doc. Next up, we're going to talk about document security. When it comes to a document that you keep online, it's relatively secure. Know that nothing is completely secure online, and you are never anonymous online. You can go incognito, but all you're doing is just making it a little bit harder for someone to find you. Everything you do is seen, it is tracked. So don't think that you're going to get complete security or that you're going to be able to go completely incognito. Having said that, your documents in your Google Doc or anything else that you're saving online is there. It is behind a password. You do want to make sure that you have some good password protection. And when you share a document, be aware of how you're sharing that. This particular piece of document, I pulled some text off of Wikipedia. I don't recommend that, obviously, because I'm a teacher. This is just to give you an example of some stuff to work with. I can come up here and I can comment. So I can add a comment, or I can see what comments have already been made. So let's add a comment. I'm going to grab right here, go to comments and add one here. Here's my comment. So I can put this comment into the document, and you can see that it's marked here. If you have someone else working in the document with you, they could add their own comment. That's a reply, and now we have a string going on. It's kind of boring because it's just me right now. I can go up to share, and right now this document is private to only me, and as long as no one has my password and they don't hack the server somewhere, it's relatively private. I'm going to come up to share. I have to name my document, which I hadn't yet. Now I can share this document with other people, and I can give them a couple different levels of permission. I can, for instance, send someone's email address in here. I can give them the right to edit the document, to only comment on the document, as I've just done up here, or they can view it. Now I can also notify them. Since I've entered an email address, it's going to notify them, send them an email. This works best if you're using your Google Mail, because you can put your note here. When I'm done, I can send that out. The other option you have is to get a shareable link. When you click on this, here is a link. Anyone with a link can view it. They can comment. They can edit it. So let's just leave this at view. Here I have a link that I can, let's see, we're done here. We have a link that I could paste into an email if I wanted to, and someone could just click on that link and they would have access to the document. In the Office Products Online, it's pretty similar. We click on share. It will take a moment. We can give people the ability to edit or to view these documents. We can get a link. We can see who this has been shared with, and we can also give them an email to go with this to let them know what the document is about.
Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides make it easy to work on your files with other people. It doesn't matter whether they're in the same room or halfway around the world. You just share your file with the people you want to work with. Let's take a look at how useful this can be. Amy and John use Google Docs to work on their travel newsletter at the same time, even when they're miles apart. Amy creates a new document and shares it with John. She gives him edit access, which means that both of them can make changes to the document at the same time. Once they're set up, Docs lets them work together in a few different ways. Amy knows when John is working on the newsletter because his profile picture appears on screen, and she can watch him work as he types. She can use chat to start a conversation. And if John isn't online at the same time she is, she can stay in touch with comments. So the next time John views the file, he can respond to Amy. And Amy can click Resolve when he's addressed her comment. Between chat and comments, no good ideas get left behind. Docs, Sheets, and Slides also make it easy to bring other people into the conversation. So when Amy has a question for her boss, Catherine, she types Catherine's name into a comment using the plus sign, and Catherine gets an email letting her know she needs to weigh in. Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Keep everyone on the same page. For more information about real-time collaboration, visit the Help Center.
Now we're going to start working with tables. Tables are a good way to graphically organize some information inside of a document and make it a little bit more easy to read for folks. So we're going to come up here in our Google document to Tools, to Table, Insert Table. You can see it starts to pull open a menu for us here. We have a 1x1, a 2x1. We can go as many columns as we need to, up through 20. That's going to make a pretty huge chart there, table, and we can also go down to 20. So if I do a 20 by 20 table, you can see what I'm going to basically get when I click on this is graph paper. That's too big. Let's create a table that we can actually use. I'm going to create a 5 by 5 table. I'm going to use this to keep track of our classes for school. Now I'm going to stop for a moment and enter some data, and we'll come back and you'll see what we've done here. I've filled in our table here. You can see I've got the days of the week across the top, and I've got the classes that I might be taking here in college. I've got history, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, math every day, writing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and zoology every day of the week. So let's make this table look a little bit better. I'm going to format this font as bold. I can center it, make it look a little bit better. Maybe I want to highlight my history classes. So I'm going to choose a different text color. I can go here. I could also grab multiple at the same time and do multiple cells, make those also red. Maybe I know that there's a math quiz every Thursday, so I want to highlight that. I can grab this particular cell and I can change the background color. I can make it yellow to remind me that yes, there is a quiz on Thursdays in math. Maybe I look at my chart and I decide that I need to add another column here. I'm going to go back into my table, and the same place where I inserted a table, I can do some things like inserting a row above, a row below, a column. Let's put a column here to the left, and I'm going to put down which hour class it is. So I might have first hour class. You can see it's trying to use the same format that I've had here with the other column there. So here's second hour, here is third hour, and finally here's our fourth hour. Let's grab all of these here. Let's make the font black again. Maybe we can italicize it. And you can see we're doing some formatting here to make it look a little bit more custom. I can continue to format my table with a lot of different things. I can choose different background colors. I can do some other things with the borders of the font. I can change the width of this. This is a 1-point border. Let's go to 3-point. It makes it thicker. So you can see there's a lot of different things that we could do with our table here. And we can make it look just as bad as we want to. We have the ability to move between programs. I've selected everything here. Going to use Control-C. Let's go over to the Word Online. I'm going to Control-V to paste this table down here. And you can see that it looks pretty similar to what we had. If I click within it, you can see that we've opened up a new set of tools here on our ribbon. Now these are the contextual menus. When you click on something, we have a Design tab and a Layout tab. So let's look at the Design tab first. Here you can see we have some different options. If I pull this down, I can change the way that I make my chart look, and I can instantly add a different formatting to it. So I have a darker band across the top here and a darker band across the left hand side. I can change our colors even more, make it kind of a reddish theme. If I decide that I don't want to have this highlighting in here, that is just, let's see, we can do some cell shading this way. Make it a blue. Again, I'm limited only by how garish I can make this thing look. Let's go to the Home tab. Let's make our font black. Okay. I can also go to my Layout tab. In my Layout tab, I can select an area, and maybe I want to center these. So I'm going to put these in the middle of each cell, and you can see how those are there. And this red on blue is going to completely bug me. Let's go back to black. There we go. So you can see I can do some formatting in here. I'm off of the table, and I no longer have these contextual menus up here. I click onto the table, I have these menus here, so I can pull down the different colors. I could also tell it that I maybe did not have a header row, so I take that off, and it's going to treat this just like any other row of data. I could tell it I have a total row, and it's going to treat that bottom. That's handy if we're doing some stuff with numbers or whatnot. I could also come in here and I can select a column, select a row. I can delete columns and rows. Let's say I add a 5th hour. I click down here. Let's insert a column below. This is now my 5th hour class, and it is a Wednesday only class. Maybe we're taking a class called Symposium. You can see that I don't have the same formatting. Let's select this, go to our layout, center this. So you see that formatting tables is actually pretty easy. We get into them. We can right click a lot to do a lot of different things. We have some automatic tools for us here that will help us. And that's about it for this. Let's look at a little bit of formatting here. If I look at my document, you can see that I have a header here. To change these settings up here, I can just click within the header, and then I can format this, move it to the middle, I can move it to the right. I'm looking at tab stops here. If I hit a tab, I am just going left ½ an inch every time I'm pressing tab here. Let's move this. We're going to go completely back here. I can add some different tab stops. I'll hit enter here. When I left click on my ruler up here, I can add a tab stop at that position. I can add a center stop or a right stop. So let's put here a center tab stop. Now you can see up here on the ruler bar, when I tab, it's going to take me right to the middle, and this text here is going to be centered. I could have done the same thing by just centering the text, but maybe I want to have a different stop position here. Let's change some of the formatting in our document. If we go to File and we go to Page Setup, it opens up our options here so that we can change our document to a landscape. If we're looking at a different size piece of paper, we'll stick with letter 8.5 by 11. We can also change our margins. If we're trying to fit more on the page, we can change this to make our top margin ½ an inch, our bottom margin ½ an inch. I can't type, that's okay. 5.5, click OK. You can see that we now have a paper with more stuff stuck onto it. Let's go back, go to Page Setup. Let's make this portrait. Typically what you'll probably be doing is making your margins just a little bit bigger because your teacher told you had to get to 1 page and you don't have quite 1 page and you don't dare change the font size, so you change the border just a little bit so it fills out your page a bit more. If I want to make a particular section stand out, I could highlight this section here, and I can come up to my ruler bar and I can drag this in so that we have a ½ inch indent on this side, grab a ½ inch indent, bring it in here. It's kind of a ragged edge right here. I could use a full justify and I can put a clean right edge right there. I could also take a list of items. I can come up and I can grab a bulleted list. I can put bullets on each of those. Maybe I want to make this a little bit closer together. My line spacing is here. I can change my line spacing. It's currently at double. I can make it 1.5, put a little bit less space in there. I can single space it. Or I could do some custom things where I could put the spacing a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, depending upon what my needs are. In Microsoft Word, our page layout options are under the Page Layout tab. This opens up the ribbon here. We can change the margins of our paper. They have some built-in. We could do a custom to create bigger or smaller margins, or orientation of the page, portrait, landscape, and again, the size where I can even do a custom size page if I want to. I can indent portions of it. Again, just by clicking up and down here on my mouse. We'll undo that. So it does some of the same things that grabbing the toolbar did. Spacing before and after. This is currently set to have 10 spaces after. Maybe I want to tighten that space up a little bit right there. I can also do some similar things with the full justify. Back to my home tab, I highlight this whole paragraph, and I've made this now a clean right edge. Let's do it with the whole document. Control all, justify it, and that turned that one off. So it's going to do the exact opposite of what it had just done for us. Now I have a clean edge here on the right hand side. From here I can adjust my spacing. Let's make it single spaced. I could do a hanging indent if I wanted to. There we go. So you see there's a couple of different formatting tools you have available for you here in Microsoft Word. And we have finished this section here, Standard 2, Objective 2. Coming up is going to be an assignment. We're going to be using some of these tools in a word processor. So you're going to be going out to the website. You'll be looking for the word processor assignment. Check your workbook also. There'll be a link there with some instructions. I will post a video that shows you how to do that assignment should you get stuck. If you don't need that help, you don't need to watch that video. But if you do need that help, I'd recommend that you watch that. I appreciate your patience on this first video. It's a little bit long because we've been going over some basic things. I suspect the others will be shorter because we're not going to have to do as much with formatting text and page layouts and those sorts of things. So we've made it. Congratulations, and you can get to work on the assignment now.